Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be discussing my habit tracking systems for 2022. I will be discussing my habit tracking system and I will mainly be talking about this book, which is my habit tracking book. I just want to go over some of the details that I put. So in the last year in December, in the lead up to the new year, I did a lot of planning. It was more not planning as such, but sort of more dropping down the things that I wanted to achieve in 2022 and the things that I wanted to just to sort of some of the things that I wanted to some of the habits that I thought I wanted to start, or some of the habits I wanted to continue, as well as some of the things that I didn't want to do anymore. So here we have my 2022 goals. So I won't show you all of them because I think like people's goals, they're personal. But I'll just show you the first two goals. So I want by the end of 2022, or at some point at 2022, I want to have a productivity rate of 100%. So my productivity rate is just basically how many habits did I achieve during a month, and there's a special calculation I do to work out my productivity rate. I won't go into that in this video just because it is a bit complex. It's not too complex, but it's just I don't want to do it right now because so we have number one productivity rate of 100%, publish novel and sell 10,000 copies. Obviously that second goal is very ambitious. Like 10,000 copies is a lot to sell considering I've never really sold many books before. My last novel, which I published at the end of 2019, so what's that? Over 2 years now. Um, it flopped. It flopped. But I'm hoping that the novel that I'm currently working on, which I plan to release in June, at the end, I want to start selling it, publish it, and selling it at the end of June. Well, that's the thing I forgot with these goals that I forgot to put which month I want to achieve these specific goals. But this is I guess sort of the end of year stuff. But I had publish novel and sell 10,000 copies at the start of this. Sorry, publish novel and sell 10,000 copies by the end of the year. But I will be publishing my novel in the middle of the year. If that makes sense. So like late June. So here are some more goals I have for this year. So I have like fitness goals. So I want to go below 10% body fat. Or no, around at least like 10% body fat. It doesn't necessarily have to be below, but that is quite hard to achieve. I think right now I'm about 15% body fat. So if I can lose 5% body fat within a year, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on fitness, but I'm trying to lean up and or lean down rather. And put on muscle, obviously. So that's why I've also got above 65 kilos. Down here we have my social media goals. So by the end of the year, I want to have um, over 100,000 Instagram followers, and I also want to have 3,000 YouTube subscribers. The way I got those numbers, I did them. The calculations for those numbers were different, simply because I think the audiences for Instagram and YouTube, although they are like the same, obviously the same sort of people, I think the numbers vary a lot between Instagram followers and YouTube subscribers. Um, you tend to have a lot. I find people tend to have a lot more Instagram followers than they do on YouTube. That's just my observation. I might be wrong about that. Um, but those are my goals. The way that number for Instagram followers, as you can see, I crossed them out, even though it was the same number again. I crossed it out because I didn't like the calculations, but then I realized that I was okay with the calculation for Instagram. Anyway, the calculation for Instagram, for my Instagram followers goals was I just basically squares the number of days were in a year. So if you put in a calculator 365 squared, that's the number you get. And the calculation for the YouTube subscribers was a little bit different. I just went like 100 subs in January, 200 subs in February, and I just kept going until I reached 1,000. But then I started going up by 1,000. So if you get if you get like October is 1,000, November 2,000, December 3,000. By the end of the year, I want 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So hopefully you might be able to help me out with that. Just as we were talking about before with Instagram, so this is the basically what I want. How many like followers and subscribers I want by like the end of each month. So as you got here, by January I want 900 Instagram followers. February I want 3,600. That I again I was just squaring the numbers by how many days of the year there would be by the end of each month, if that makes sense. I know some of these calculations are a bit confusing, but I know what, as long as you know what you're doing, it doesn't really matter like if other people know what you're doing in terms of like making all these weird calculations with goals. I do believe that it is important as much as like goals are important. I also think that habits are very important because those habits are going to be the things like everyday habits or weekly, monthly, or however. Habits are going to be the things that actually achieve your goals. I mean, there's other elements to it, but habits is a big part of it. So as I said, one of my goals for 2022 was at some point to have a 100% productivity rate, um, which is very hard to achieve. But considering like I barely pass, like, my productivity rates are usually around 50ish. So that's something I really need to work on. So I got things like wake up early, meditate, read, cold shower, shampoo, oil, moisture, hydrate, dress well, and even like things like turn on bathroom after shower, like fan after shower, and then like for the other thing, for published novel. So I've got edit 50 pages. I'm currently in the editing stage. Um, like block distractions, use apps to block distractions, and all of that. So I obviously, as I mentioned before, the handwriting is the handwriting doesn't necessarily, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't necessarily need to be super neat. As long as you know what you're writing, as long as I know what I'm writing, and as long as you know what you're writing, and you know what it's all about, I basically showing you that just to have like an overview of what that all looks like. The next thing I do is, so last year the way I did it last year was I did it by quarters, where I divided the year into quarters. So quarter one, January to March, quarter two, April to June. So I think that's like a financial thing. Like they do that with businesses. But this year, I'm doing things differently. So instead of doing quarters, I'm gonna do like gonna do two parts. So just like I outlined, just like I wrote down a list of my goals for the year, I'm also doing a list of goals for the first half of the year, and then in late June, I will write down my goals for the second half of the year. And at the end of each month, I will write down all my goals for the following month. So the other day I wrote down yesterday I wrote down yesterday because yesterday was still 2021. I wrote down all my goals for the January 2022. So my goals for 2022 part 1. So as you can see, I'll show you the first two goals. Goal number 1 is productivity rate of 82%, and 2 is to publish a novel and have it available for people to buy. Then for January, I have my goals. So it's basically the same thing, but I'm breaking it down into month. And then what I also like to do, I then break it down into week, which I haven't done yet, but I'll probably do that tomorrow as my goal to write down all my goals for the following week on Sunday. So as to say Saturday, I will be doing that tomorrow. So, but for now, my monthly goals is for the first two, a productivity rate by the end of January. For January, I want to have at least a productivity rate of 67%. Just building up to that final number of 100%. And then for my novel is finish both edits by the end of the month. I'm still in the first stage of editing, but hopefully I can finish both edits by the end of the month. I put all the work in. So these are just my morning routine habits. I think it's very obviously, as you would probably imagine, I'm one of those people who believes it's important to have a set morning routine, and I don't want to be one. I'm not one of those people who can just wake out of bed and start the day. I do like to do like certain things before I start the work, start work or whatever I'm doing for that day. Even if I'm having like a sort of more relaxed, or if I'm going out for like a fun adventure sort of day, I will still go through my morning routine, even if it's Christmas Day, which we recently just had. I will still go through my morning routine, although I'm certainly not in the mood. So wake up early. So my goal at the moment is just waking up before 6 a.m. I do want to wake up early. I do want to be one of those people who gets up at 5:30. And since it's summer at the moment, I think it's a good time to slightly turn the clock back. But sorry, to slightly turn the clock back a bit and wake up earlier is what I mean. Um, Having said that, I also, if in order to have a good morning routine, you also need to have a good night routine. Um, so I just have some, and again, I do apologize for my writing, but I know what it says. That's important. As long as I know what it says, that's important. So we've got here oral pluck, skincare diary. Pluck it just means like I pluck the eye. I don't viciously pluck my eyebrows, but just like you know those weird hairs you get in between your eyebrows. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want those. I want to wake up earlier, but in order to wake up earlier, I actually have to go to bed earlier. So I was a bit disappointed in myself because I actually, even though today was the first day of the year, I woke up a little bit later than usual. Because I didn't go out last night or do anything like that. I just stayed in. I actually like to stay in on New Year's Eve. Um, but because I woke up because I sort of I just well obviously there was the fireworks and I just had a I don't know I think I had like New Year's anxiety. Does anyone else have that like New Year's anxiety? Maybe I can talk about that. And I think it's to do with I think it's simply to do with time moving forward too quickly. I have an anxiety about that. I'll talk about that in another video. But um, I was a bit disappointed in myself because the first thing that I was supposed to do this year, I got wrong. I didn't do it. I slept in, but then I thought, you know what? Most people like I woke up at around 7ish. I know 7:30ish, sometime around there. When I wanted to wake up before 6 a.m. But anyway, I think I needed that extra sleep. I would rather have. Sometimes I'd rather sleep in than wake up earlier and lose sleep. But then again, you also lost sleep even though you slept in. Anyway, um, my I'm going to bed. My goal is to go to bed earlier because obviously, if you're gonna wake up earlier, then you need to go to bed earlier. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, so that is my habit tracking system. Anyway, that is my morning routine or my morning routine habits. I do want to actually do a morning routine video. I've never done one before. It's not going to be one of those like epic morning routine videos you see here on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching. It won't be some sort of high production YouTube morning routine video. It will just be me with my phone camera, just like doing like little like crappy B-roll while I talk over, just as I was doing before with doing B-roll over my habit tracking book. Anyway, so that is my habit tracking book. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon.